Wearing the same dirty clothes all winter sounds unthinkable, but for centuries, the poor had no choice. Every few weeks, they battled cracked skin, numbing water, and even buckets of human urine, just to stay clean in brutal cold. Why did laundry mean risking your health and dignity, and who decided that visible cleanliness was worth everything? Let's uncover the realities hidden beneath the cuffs. Fresh linen at the neck and cuffs once spoke louder than gold. In ancient Rome, commercial laundries, fullers, scrubbed togas on stone, bleaching them with ammonia drawn from human urine. Pliny the Elder wrote about their craft, and archaeologists have uncovered entire city blocks devoted to laundry work. The wealthy changed clothes daily, their servants spending hours boiling, beating, and drying fine linen. Cleanliness was a luxury, not a birthright. For the elite, a spotless shirt served as a silent declaration of status. Servants handled the mess and the chemicals. Hands that did laundry rarely shook those of senators. After Rome's collapse, these systems faded, but the gap between rich and poor only widened. The poor wore the same woolen cloaks and heavy dresses for weeks, sometimes months, with no hope of daily change. Clean linen became a distant aspiration, its absence a public badge of poverty. Laundry was not just a chore. It was a line drawn clearly between those who could afford to be seen in white and those who could not. The next time a collar peeked out from a cloak, it told a story of labor, money, and the invisible work hidden behind every crisp fold. Every few weeks, poor households braced themselves for the Great Wash, a punishing cycle that ruled the calendar as much as the harvest or the rent. The rhythm was relentless. Every 2 to 4 weeks, laundry day arrived, and it did not last a morning. It stretched into 3 or 4 days of unbroken labor. The work began with the most basic problem: water. Few cottages had wells, so women and children trudged to the nearest river or stream, hauling heavy buckets back and forth until enough had been gathered to fill the washing tubs. In winter, this meant breaking through ice and carrying freezing water, sometimes across fields slick with mud or snow. Once home, the water had to be heated over open fires, burning through precious wood that might otherwise warm the family. Medieval manuals and colonial American ledgers both record the staggering time cost. A single load of linen could take an entire day from start to finish. The poor owned just 1 or 2 linen shifts per person, so the stakes were high. If the laundry was not done, there was nothing clean to wear. The process was a physical siege, repeated month after month, year after year. No shortcuts, no rest. Just the endless cycle of hauling, boiling, scrubbing, and wringing, all before the real cleaning even began. Lye was the secret weapon of the Great Wash, but its recipe read more like a warning than a guide. A 15th century laundry manual spells it out: 3 measures of wood ash, boiling water poured over, then strained and left to cool. The resulting liquid, lye, was so caustic it could dissolve fat and strip away months of sweat and grime. But for the poorest, that was not enough. Into the lye went aged human urine, collected and left to turn sharp with ammonia. This was no accident. Ammonia is a powerful bleaching agent, breaking down stains that water alone could never touch. Linen shirts soaked for hours in this chemical bath. Collars and cuffs rubbed raw where sweat and dirt clung the most. The smell was overwhelming, a stinging cloud of ammonia that burned the nose and eyes. Laundresses worked barehanded, their skins submerged in lye and urine until it cracked and bled. No gloves, no protection, just raw hands, raw fabric, and the relentless need to get every last patch of linen clean. The science behind it was effective, but the human cost was visible in every pair of red, swollen hands, and every breath drawn in a room thick with fumes. For the poor, this was not a choice. It was the only way to keep the one shirt they owned from turning yellow and stiff with filth. In the far north, laundry in winter became a test of survival. When rivers froze over, women carved wide holes, sometimes nearly 2 feet across, through thick ice to reach the black water below. Kneeling on planks to keep from slipping, they plunged linen into water only 1 degree above freezing, scrubbing and rinsing until their hands went numb. Frostbite struck fast. Some lost feeling for days. Parish records from rural Sweden and Russia note winter drownings, as ice cracked or a foot slipped into the dark. Children sent to help sometimes vanished beneath the surface, their names entered in the same ledgers that tracked births and marriages. Dragging heavy, wet linen from the hole, women risked more than cold. The ice edge grew slick with each rinse, and a single misstep ended in disaster. Yet the alternative, hauling and melting enough ice at home, demanded more firewood than most families could spare. For wool garments, water was not an option at all. Instead, the snow itself became a tool. Clean, deep drifts were packed onto cloaks and blankets, then beaten and brushed. As the snow melted, it pulled out oils and dirt, leaving the fabric fresher. Freezing temperatures finished the job, killing lice and lingering bacteria. This snow wash method, still taught by Nordic textile conservators today, stands as proof of ingenuity born from necessity. In these winters, laundry was not just labor, it was a daily gamble with the elements. Linen rarely stood a chance against the Great Wash. After days soaking in caustic lye and ammonia, the real assault began. Laundresses grabbed thick wooden paddles called beetles and hammered shirts and shifts against stone or wooden boards, blow after blow to force out grime. In some villages, washing meant trampling the cloth underfoot, women stamping rhythmically in icy water until the fabric softened. For stains that refused to budge, handfuls of sand or ground chalk were rubbed straight into the weave, scraping away dirt, but also grinding down the fibers with every pass. These methods worked, but they came at a steep cost. A linen shirt washed this way might last only 2 or 3 years before the fabric thinned, tore, and finally disintegrated. Every wash left collars and cuffs more frayed, seams weaker, and patches more common. Drying brought its own problems. Hung outside in winter, clothes froze stiff as boards, killing lice but making them impossible to wear until thawed. Indoors, damp laundry draped over chairs and rafters kept cottages cold and clammy, breeding mold and misery. With so few garments to their name, poor families often put on linen still wet from the wash, shivering as the cloth clung to their skin. The fight for cleanliness destroyed fabric, but going without meant risking disease and public shame. Each battered shirt told a story of labor, poverty, and the price paid for a single day in clean clothes. Inside the walls of a grand manor, laundry day looked nothing like the struggle unfolding in peasant cottages. Estate inventories from the 1600s list entire buildings dedicated just to washing, laundry houses fitted with copper boilers, racks for drying, and enough space for teams of washerwomen to work in shifts. The air filled with the hiss of boiling water, not the sting of lye and ammonia. Hired hands, drawn from nearby villages, earned their keep scrubbing linen for the wealthy, while the family upstairs never touched a wet shirt. Delicate silks and lace collars soaked in perfumed water, pressed gently between cloths, while servants' rough linens still faced the paddle and the wringer. But even in these privileged halls, the work was relentless. The invention of the washboard in 1797 changed the rhythm everywhere it appeared. A simple corrugated board, it replaced rocks and saved hands from splinters and bruises, cutting washing time in half. By the 1850s, the wringer arrived, 2 wooden rollers that squeezed water from fabric, turning hours of painful twisting into a few quick cranks. These devices spread slowly, first to towns, then to villages, but always trailed by cost. The real revolution flickered to life in 1908. Alva J. Fisher patented the Thor, the world's first electric washing machine. At about $100, it cost several months' wages, out of reach for most. Only the wealthy could afford such a marvel. In 1940, just a quarter of American homes had a washing machine. But after the Second World War, mass production and cheap electricity changed everything. By 1960, 3 out of 4 homes owned a machine. Generations of backbreaking labor faded into memory, replaced by the hum of a motor and the promise of clean clothes for all. Clean clothes were once a privilege, not a given. Today, billions still lack access to safe laundry or even clean water, a reminder that convenience for much of the world remains out of reach. The struggle for dignity through cleanliness is not history. It is a challenge we face right now.